The top 10 best planets. Number 10, exoplanets. Exoplanets are the planets outside of the solar system. In recent years, science has discovered countless planets outside of our solar system. With the advances in telescopes and viewing instruments, space watchers have found there to be endless planetary bodies outside of the solar system. The fascination surrounding them puts them on the list. Number 9, Pluto. Pluto was reclassified from planet to dwarf planet in 2006, but it still holds a special place in many hearts. The former planet, which was thought to be just a tiny dead body, had a close flyby by the New Horizons satellite in 2015, which produced the most stunning images we've ever seen of Pluto. The revelations made of Pluto brought it back to the headlines and also back into our hearts. Number 8, Mercury. Only slightly larger than Earth's moon, Mercury is also the smallest planet. With sun-facing surface temperatures of about 840 degrees Fahrenheit, Mercury scorches in the day and freezes at night with a nighttime temperature of negative 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Mercury is also one of the oldest known planets. Sumerians knew of Mercury at least 5,000 years ago and often associated it with Nabu, the god of writing. Number 7, Uranus. The seventh planet from the Sun checks in as the number 7 on this list. The first of the ice giants, Uranus is a pale blue-green planet about 4 times the diameter of Earth. Its color is due to the large amount of methane in its atmosphere. Only one spacecraft has visited Uranus up close, the Voyager 2 mission, in January of 1986. Its most distinctive feature is that the planet rotates on its side, likely a result of a large impact much earlier in its life. Number 6, Neptune. The most distant of the non-dwarf planets, Neptune is another ice giant. Normally thought to be a deep blue color, recent studies have suggested that its atmospheric composition is close enough to Uranus's that they likely are more close in color to what we know Uranus's color to be. Neptune has 14 moons and takes about 165 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Neptune is similar in size to Uranus in being about 4.5 times the size of the Earth's diameter. The intrigue of the perceived dark blue color puts it at the number 6 spot on this list. Number 5, Venus. Earth's sister planet, Venus is slightly smaller than Earth and the next closest to the Sun. Venus, however, is noted by being a runaway greenhouse-affected planet. Its cloud cover is so thick that we have only recently been able to look through its clouds to see what its surface looks like. As it turns out, the temperatures on the surface are hellish. The planet is almost completely covered in volcanic activity. I've included a rendering of what Venus looks like under the clouds for perspective. The namesake of Venus, the goddess of love, keeps it at this spot on the list because of our attachment with all things love. Number 4, Saturn. Famous for its stunning rings, Saturn is a gas giant with a unique and captivating appearance. The 6th planet from the Sun, Saturn is only 15% smaller in diameter than Jupiter, but only 30% the mass. Saturn is not very dense at all. If you could find an ocean large enough, Saturn would actually float on water because its density is so light. With 146 known moons, Saturn's most prominent feature, its rings, are likely the result of moons that collide and or pull each other apart, but its beauty is stunning nonetheless. The fascination with the rings and moons is why Saturn finds itself at the number 4 spot. Number 3, Jupiter. The king of the planets, Jupiter is more than twice as massive as all the other planets combined. The 5th planet from the Sun, Jupiter's strange, gaseous, churning bands of clouds fascinate us. Jupiter is about 1,300 times the size of Earth, meaning if Jupiter was a cup, it would take a little over 1,300 Earths to fill it up. With 95 known moons, Jupiter has some of the biggest moons in the solar system. Ganymede, the biggest, is larger than both Pluto and Mercury. Jupiter's distinct Great Red Spot is an anticyclonic storm that mankind has been watching since the 1700s. All these strange, wonderful things about Jupiter is why it finds itself number 3 on the list. Number 2, Mars. The red planet, 4th from the Sun, Mars is also our neighbor. About slightly over half the size of Earth, Mars' reddish hue comes from iron oxide in the soil, which causes its distinctive color. With only 2 very small moons, Mars's 2 moons were captured. Phobos, the larger of the 2 moons, has a declining orbit, which loses about 6 feet per year and will eventually crash into the red planet. Deimos, the smaller of the 2, has an orbit that is slowly getting larger and will eventually escape the planet's gravity. Mars, being the closest neighbor in the habitable zone that could actually support life, is being considered as our next possible place to live. The trip from Earth to Mars at its closest point is about 7 to 8 months. The fascination with possibly living on Mars gives it the number 2 spot on the list. And the number 1, Earth. And of course our Mother Earth is the number 1 best planet. The only place we know of that has life, Earth supports a vast variety of complex organisms and life forms. Earth's stability for life is helped in no small part by the moon. Having a large moon helps stabilize Earth so that its tilt doesn't go to extremes, keeping it nice and cozy for us. Earth's long history of life is only a fraction of the planet's life, though, as early on in its life cycle, Earth was likely very much like the surface of Venus is today. But lucky for us, it didn't stay that way. Our affinity for this very livable planet is what makes Earth the number 1 planet on the countdown. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your time. Be blessed.